We are going to look in this video on transferring files between buckets with the help of Python. So the prerequisites for this is you need to download the AWS CLI, which is main actually, because we are not going to execute these things in Lambda. Rather, we would be using it from our direct local Python, and then we are just going to use it there, put it there. So yeah, so download this AWS CLI. And after installing it, you should have in your command prompt or bash, whatever you're using. So you click AWS, you will find these things. That is point number one. Point number two is you need to have the S3, because we need to have these two buckets. Create buckets in S3. I have already done it. Click create a button and then make public access if you want, or do whatever you would like. Create two buckets. Okay, this point. And then the point three is add two objects inside the bucket, because we are going to work on it. So click on upload and then add files, and then you are able to add all the files whatever you. And the next thing is we want this S3 to be accessed from our Python program. So in order to do that, open this IAM. So it's Identity Access Management Console. So from there, go to users. We are going to create a service account. This service account will have some access key and secret. Using that access key and secret, our program can able to communicate with us. So create a new user. I'm going to call like transfer objects user, and then I just have programmatic access. We don't want any other thing. And then inside the permissions, go to attach existing policies directly. If you already have user existing user, you can make use of these two things. So this is new. Go to attach existing policies directly. Our job is to manage S3. So type S3 at the filter and select Amazon S3 full access, and then give tags. I don't care. So end user. So once the user has been created, you will have these two things: access key ID and secret access key. Go to your command prompt, call, let me to command prompt, and then type AWS configure. Since AWS CLI has already been installed, it will ask something like AWS access key ID. Copy this and then paste it there, and then copy the secret key as well as paste it here, and then the US East one, output format none, and we are good. Okay, so AWS has been configured successfully. We will see how to write the program. Okay, now okay, so I have created an empty Python project which has three methods. One is our default main, and then there is a transfer between buckets. It will have source bucket and destination bucket, and then there is transfer file, source bucket, destination bucket, and file name. So we are going to make use of these two methods, and then we are going to work on. And then for import, I have imported JSON for the sake of transferring here and there with this map. Sorry, dict actually in Python. And then also I'm using RxPython. The reason why I use Rx is Rx has so much of operations, and then once you have learned Rx, you can work on any programming language which supports it. I'm almost new to Python. I'm not that much expert in Python. Since I know Rx, I'm just using it. And Boto3 is the client library which you'll be using it for connecting with S3 and all other things related with AWS. And then also I am specifying like, okay, fine, for exception handler, I need this client error. So that's the idea here. So the first thing which I'm going to implement is transfer file. Okay, so it will accept bucket, source bucket and destination bucket and a file name. I'm going to what I'm going to do is I'm just going to identify, or sorry, implement these things. Okay. So let me that. We have a try catch because I think that is the main way to handle these kind of programs actually. And then let me call s3 resource equal to o3 dot resource s3. What we are doing is we are trying to get the instance of s3 here, and then we need to specify what we are doing as part of copy, what we are going to do a copy. It is just another uh, dictionary actually. Specify like source equal to, and then it is a dictionary, so I need to mention curly bracket. It has two keys, which is bucket, where you would be specifying the bucket. In this case it was source bucket. And then the next thing is key, and then key is represent the file name, obviously file name. And yeah, I think we are good here. We can do our next thing. So source we have specified it has two keys, which is bucket and key, and then we might need to now uh, do the copying. Okay, so the copying can be done with the help of source dot meta dot client dot copy of. So this is the function. You just need to remember it, or it is in documentation actually. Have to stretch too much on that. Okay, so is source, okay, and then destination bucket, and then the file name. Okay, so the destination bucket determines like where it needs to be, and the file name is the same file name we would like to have it. That is what it is meant. And the next thing is I think we have done actually, but we want to handle exceptions as well, right? So that is the main thing whenever we are programming related to something like this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to call like except client error. So I just want to specify client error as e, and then let me do something here. We just print the e. Okay, so as of now the transfer file doesn't return anything. Okay, but if you look into aspect of any good way of programming, it's better either you can throw an exception or you can return a result of what has actually happened. So I would like to I would like to return a result. Okay, so I would like to return a result like specifying the file name and then status of what went wrong or something. Okay, so file name by that as sorry for using capital case. I will need to use capital because it's Python. Okay, so result is a file name which is a JSON object, and I would like to specify like status to success, or if you are, I don't know if you can have a code there. And in this case here, status equal to error. Along with that, we know that there is more thing which we can. I'll just specify the error code, whatever is happening, and then let me do a result. Okay, so yeah, I think we have almost done this transfer file thing. We just want to verify like whether it is working or not. Okay, let me open the S3 stuff, and then bucket B, let me open it. And for bucket A, we see there is a file called johnw.jpg. So the idea there is We just need to specify the file name and then the bucket name where it needs to place. Okay, so let me do that. Transfer file, and the source bucket is A, and then destination bucket is, okay, it's just bucket names actually. Okay, so it's here and here. And then the file is, I guess, johnw.jpg. johnw.jpg. Okay, and let me run this code now. Needs to wish, if things are going to be good, it needs to upload there. It's been completed, but don't know whether what went right or wrong. Add a print json.dump because it's a object, and let me see that actually what went right. This, okay, so we have got that, and if I'm going to print it, it is going to work fine. It has deleted as well. So now what we'll do is we'll just give some error stuff. Okay, so key doesn't exist. Let's see what's going to happen, because a good program is not just handling success cases, we need to handle error cases as well. Okay, so it has arrived like calling head object operation not found. So the 404 error has been thrown from here, and then yeah, things started working fine. Fine. So the next thing is we have found actually like error has been also happening and success also happening. I would like to see actually JSON dump is not working as expected. So run with proper thing, because error exit code should never be on, because we are handling it. Okay, yeah. So you can see like file name, that is error 404. Okay, the JSON dump is as expected. Right. Good. So the next thing is we want to transfer between the buckets. Okay, so this is what we want to do. So the idea behind a transfer between the bucket is you need to uh, get all the contents of source bucket, and then you can make use of transfer file, which will take care of all of the stuff. We are going to see that now. Okay. Okay. So the first option is, as usual, we need this try catch. So what I'm going to do is I'll just copy this. I'll have some similar thing I used to have previously, so it's easy for me. Okay, fine. So the first thing we need to do is I just need to create a client which is called s3 underscore client. Let me call that, as well as I will use boto3 dot client of s3. So that is the first thing I need to do. And the next thing would be like I need to get all the objects in the s3 client. So I will use something called s3 client dot list underscore objects underscore v2. of, then we need to specify the bucket is, it supports only named arguments, so I need to specify the named argument, which is source bucket. So the source bucket is a named argument here. Bucket is the key. It is the argument name, yeah. And then let me just print this response. Okay, I need to specify that response equal to this one, and this response. Okay, so for the sake it is here, let me see like what the response is going to be. Instead of that, let me transfer between buckets. I'm not doing any other thing here. I'm just also update the result of status. I'm not doing any other thing here in transfer buckets. We need to still write code to transfer files individually. But before that, I would like to see the response so that I can able to do the transfer. So we run this. What went wrong? Okay. It appears sorry for that. I have to suppose only two arguments. Yes. Okay, it went, and this is the response actually for the list objects v2. What we need is, we already have source bucket and destination bucket. We want individual file names. Okay, so that is what we need. We create a scratch file of, and let me put this. We see where all these keys are available. So this is a global tag, and then it has something called contents. It has something called key. The key denotes the file name, john w.jpg, my Bella stuff. Okay, so I just need to map, or I need to find out contents of key everywhere. There are multiple ways to do that. I prefer using Rx because of the simplicity it provides, and code looks good. Okay. That's the, and we have the response now. I just need to find out response.contents, which is an array, and then I need to go for each and every key, and then for each and every key I need to call this so-called transfer file method. Yeah, these are all the things I need to do. Right. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get this response.contents, right? So in order to do that, there are operations. There are operations, something called rx.from. Okay, it will take an array as a parameter. Okay, so the array is available in response of contents. Take array as a parameter, and then it will start emitting it individually. So I will call something called pipe. A pipe is used to compose multiple work, so one by one. First thing we want to do is we just want to get the key, right? So we want to get the individual key from everywhere. What we can use is, there are multiple operators. With the help of OPS, we are going to use OPS refers operations here, nothing with politics. Okay, ops.map, and then it will accept something called lambda. Okay, lambda is a function, whoever from Java background or some other background would have them. Lambda is a function which will, so in Python we will specify lambda as lambda followed by a parameter of the function, followed by a colon, then followed by whatever function you want to iterate. So in this case, I just want to get the key. I don't want to do any other stuff apart from getting key. Checked off key. Good. And then add a comma. So I have almost done that thing. Now the next thing which I would like to do is, I need to map it with transfer file. So ops dot map lambda, and then it is a file name. Obviously the key is nothing but file name, so I am going to get the key. So this output will be the input. Okay, so Rx works for those who are new to Rx. And then we just need to call that method, right? To call this method transfer file source bucket destination, get these parameters followed by our file name. Okay, so whatever we have as input or output, we have already received those things. As of now, this will transfer all the files actually, but it will not be emitted. By default, it is never going to be. What I will do is I'll just call something called subscribe. What this subscribe will do is it will automatically make this entire thing to fire. Just fire stuff. And one more thing which we would like to do is after subscribe is called, obviously it is going to be fired. The status of success might be a different case here. It wouldn't be like something because we are using Rx actually, might not get the exact thing which you do it in imperative way. We don't want actually a independent value of what how things are happening. Rather, what we need is we just want uh, how these particular files, what is the result of each and individual files rather than the entire bucket. What I'm going to do is I don't want this result here. I don't want this one here. Just return this. If it is a client error, let it throw this error. The reason behind is if there is an error, let that error get cascaded here as well. And here, let me add that subscribe. And then I am going to get these values independently. Subscribe is also going to have some lambda towards it. Add that. It's a result. So what I'm doing is instead of getting the result for the bucket totally, I have asked it to print it here. We don't need print because it's not a typical imperative way. This would be sufficient. The reason why I'm saying is if you want to transfer independent file here, instead of having a map kind of stuff here, you can apply parallelism inside. See that later, but I think it should work. Let's hope it should work. Let me run this application. So that let me clean the bucket. It's cleaned. Okay, so first one is success. Second one is also success. See that the bucket A has two things. Well, bucket B, let me. It will also have two things.